In this video, I'm hoping to teach everyone who watches this how to become better at handling objections. Now, I've listened to thousands of life insurance calls over the 15 plus years I've been doing this. We've run objection handling contests at Digital BGA for prizes where everybody submits their objections, and we all vote on it. So we've had dozens of those, just working with life insurance telesales agents over the years. I've boiled it down to what it takes to get better at objection handling. I'm going to share it with you in this video. One quick clarification, okay? We don't have any style of selling at Digital BGA. What I mean by that is a lot of agents will ask us, hey, do you guys do the straight line selling, like the Jordan Belfort way? You guys doing the NEPQ, the Jeremy Minor way, which is becoming very popular these days in life insurance telesales land, or impact selling or Sandler sales training, right? It's a blend of all of these, okay? We don't subscribe to any sort of selling style. Some background on me real quick. So I've purchased all those popular courses. I've read a lot of books over the years and kind of blended it all. And how we come up with our scripts and our rebuttals is simply from experience, right? Taking all that information that we've learned, that we have, and seeing how it works in a final expense format or a term life insurance format, and making changes along the way, making optimizations as you go through. Because I believe many of these systems have incredible insights and strategies, and it really all depends on what you're selling, right? Final expense, term life insurance, IULs, right? Who you're selling to. Are you selling to a low-income senior or to a high-income person who wants tax-free retirement strategies? Completely different people, right? You're not going to respond or present the same way to those two different types of people, right? So what you're selling, who you're selling to, and the way you communicate. So you could be a soft-spoken person, and if you're trying to do the straight line Jordan Belfort way,
late. And you wait. You wait. And whoever speaks first loses.
Sorry, I appreciate the call. I really have to give this some thought and talk to my wife about it. Can I call you back?
They don't know, right? They gotta think about it. They gotta talk to their fucking wives or the fucking tooth fairy. Point is, it doesn't matter what the fuck they say. The only real objection that they have is that they don't trust you guys. And why should they trust you? I mean, look at you. You're a bunch of fucking sleazy salesmen, right? So, what do you say?
It's not going to work from you. You need to have this confidence and authority and this quick on your feet sort of way of selling if you're doing it that way. So I say all of that because when you have a script, a presentation that you're following, and even the objection handling, it's going to change over time. Okay, different selling conditions. How we sold during COVID is different than how we're selling today. There's words that you become numb to over time. For example, follow-up. That's a word that people they frequently use in emails and voicemails on the phone. Hey, I'm just following up on our conversation. Guys, people are numb to that because most salespeople use follow-up, okay? Use something else instead. I'm just getting back in touch with you. I'm getting back in touch with you about this. That's a different way of saying it, okay? Again, we need to remove those words that people have become numb to out of our scripting and processes and everything, okay? Now, I say that because we change our scripting once or twice a year. We always do, because we always listen to calls and we find out what's working and what's working better. So what I'm going to say today is not any sort of style for objection handling. This is just how to become a better objection handler, okay? So first thing every life insurance telesales agent should start doing, write down every objection you receive after the 5-minute mark of a call. We're not talking smoke screens. Don't count the objections that happen in the first couple minutes of a call, right? Those are people just trying to get you off the phone. They don't know you. They don't know your product. You haven't given a presentation to them. That doesn't count. That's a whole different training to get past those smoke screens, as we call them at Digital BGA, okay? So the objections you get after you make a presentation tell you exactly what your weaknesses are in your presentation. Okay, a lot of agents are going to track their sales rates, they're going to track their contact rates, and that's all useful information. That's all worthwhile KPIs to improve on, right? But to get more actionable information on your presentation, you need to track your objections on a spreadsheet 3 columns, okay? What the objection is, how you responded to the objection, and then if you overcame the objection with that response. So maybe like a yes or no on that column, or a checkbox if you overcame it or not. That's it. Something super simple. So what the objection is, I need to speak with my spouse. I need to think about it. It's too expensive, right? How you overcame it doesn't need to be the whole thing. Just, paraphrased what you said. And then if you overcame it or not, get that data, okay? The simple act of doing this is going to help you become more aware of the objections that you get. If you're getting the same objection over and over again, there's a problem in your process, all right? If you keep getting, I need to think about it, for example, you're not building up enough emotion into your process. They want and need the coverage from you, or else they wouldn't have responded to the ad and they wouldn't have let you go through that full presentation. You just didn't do a good enough job of extracting that information. If that's you, watch the YouTube video I did called 2 Powerful Presentation Tips to Agitate Your Leads to Buy Now, okay? So if you're getting people saying they're not ready to buy today and to follow up with them, right, you need to build more urgency into your presentation, right? If you're getting people that say it's too expensive, you likely have a problem building the value of the product, but more importantly, connecting emotion to the product. If you're getting a lot of people that say they need to speak with their spouse, right, that may be the case. And, I think a lot of training systems are a little too hard on this objection, but make sure it's not a smokescreen first, right? To just get you off the phone and, buying life insurance on the back burner. Again, you want to get past, you want to clarify if that's the case or not. But at the same time, we all know that, for me personally, I know that if I was making a big financial decision, I would talk to my spouse about it, right? I talk to my wife. So I get that. You want to make sure that's the case. That's a tough one to overcome. But I heard an agent use this line, and he says it on every call where there's a spouse. And I love it. When he's doing a needs analysis and asking about who would receive the cash payment if, God forbid, something were to happen to him, basically asking who the beneficiary in the policy will be during that needs analysis, part of his rapport building process was to ask this question, right? Does your wife know we're on this call talking about protecting your family? Or is this a bit of a secret mission? I loved it, right? And I love it because it's kind of an off-the-wall question. It makes you different. Either way, then you can ask if they're supportive of buying life insurance. Now you know where the spouse stands. And if it is a secret mission, right, the spouse doesn't know that you're on the phone with them, right there that you're going to have to address this at the end of the presentation. So you can lay the groundwork right now during your presentation to overcome it. I'm going to get that to the next section here, okay? Anyway, if you really want to close more of your presentations and the clients, track your objections. I don't know many agents that are doing that. It's going to diagnose your weaknesses. Send this data, once you get 10 to 20 of them, send this data to your sales trainer. If you don't have a sales trainer, figure it out. I don't know. Everybody should have a mentor in this business, somebody who they can reach out to make themselves, sell more of the leads that they take, sell more of the conversations that they have. All right. All right, so that's number 1. You have to track your objections, right? Get an Excel sheet, write down every objection you received after the 5-minute mark of a call. Number 2, understand that an objection is a concern that your prospect has. That's it. It's only a concern. It's not a rejection. Let that sink in. Your response should be to uncover what's behind the objection. That's how you overcome objections, okay? Don't try to persuade them. Don't try to steamroll them into applying. A lot of agents make the mistake of just getting defensive and replying confrontationally, But you said that, your family would be affected if you didn't get this coverage. And you said you really cared about your family. Guys, that's confrontational. That's making the other person uncomfortable. That is not how you respond to this. That's the worst thing the worst thing you can do is not respond at all. The second worst thing you can do is become confrontational or defensive, okay? Guys, take a breath. Take a breath when you get an objection and reply with curiosity and sincerity, okay? If you have to, force yourself to furrow your brow to get that curious and sincere tonality coming out, okay? Try to put yourself in your prospect's point of view, okay? It's not time right now to explain why they need the coverage, to remind them why they need the coverage. They know why they need the coverage, right? You already had your chance to influence their decision with your presentation. Now it's time to listen. When you get an objection, it's time to listen. Okay? Take a deep breath and get them to expand on why they feel this way. Okay? So how you do this is you validate what they're feeling, acknowledge it, and ask them to expand. There's so many ways to do this. You can just ask them flat out, isolate the objection, ask them flat out to expand on, on why they need to speak with their spouse, or, why it's too expensive, or whatever it is, right? So, there's a ton of ways to do this. One of my favorite ways to do this is something I learned from Chris Voss. So Chris Voss is a former FBI hostage negotiator. He wrote the book, Never Split the Difference. That's where I got introduced to this. And this is a method called mirroring and labeling. I've talked about it on a YouTube video or two before, just touched on it, okay? But mirroring and labeling, it always gets people to expand. I think this is a great way to handle objection handling if this is you. Some of you I'm going to explain what it is. Some of you may not identify with it. That's completely fine. Go about it your own way, but you need to get people to expand, okay? So if you're mirroring and labeling, when you mirror, you're repeating the last 3 to 4 words that they said. That's it, right? You're repeating it with an inflection and a pause, and let them respond. So they say it's too expensive. You say, it's too expensive? And then they'll say, yeah, I don't have any money right now. Oh, you don't have any money right now? It's like, yeah, I don't, I'm on Social Security and I don't get paid until the second Wednesday of the month. Bingo, you just got it, right? They expanded. What they thought was too expensive, now you realize they don't have money in the account and they get paid on the second Wednesday of the month. So now you label it. You say, okay, just so I understand, you don't have any money in the account right now, but the second Wednesday of the month you will. You just labeled it, and they say yes, perfect. Okay, now you can go into, okay, well, we don't need to make your first payment until the second Wednesday of the month. I can have it draft the same time, right? So that's just an example of mirroring and labeling. You can do it with any of the objections. You want to think, if somebody says they want to think about it, you want to think about it? Yeah, I just need some time. I need to make sure I understand this correctly. You need to make sure you understand everything. You see how this goes? You keep mirroring until you get that label, and that's how you can get people to expand. Guys, I learned that from Chris Voss from Never Split the Difference, and it's just a great way to handle objections. And again, this may not resonate with you. I'm just giving you an example. The goal here, again, is to listen, get them to expand. You want to acknowledge their feelings, and then get them talking. They've been doing the listening the whole presentation, and now it's time for you to listen and get down to exactly why they are giving this objection. All right. So remember, guys, life insurance, it's an emotional sale. Okay. When you get an objection, you need to listen to their concerns and address them. All right. So that's number 2. So number 1, remember, you want to track your objections. Anything over the 5-minute mark, put them on the spreadsheet. Number 2, understand that an objection is a concern your prospect has. It's not rejection, right? And you want to get them to expand on it. Expand on that concern. And number 3, to tie it all together, you can reduce your objections with a better presentation. Your presentation is the best way to reduce any objections you get at the end. You should be constantly learning and constantly optimizing your presentation based on the objections that you get. So you're identifying the objections you're getting more than any other, right? And start optimizing your presentation based on that. You may be glazing over areas of your script that you shouldn't be. You may be completely cutting out most rapport building questions, or not even building rapport at all. Your tonality may be off. You may not be connecting emotion to the product at all. It may just be a transactional. Maybe you're just robotic reading off the script. Guys, your objections that you get are going to tell you exactly what you need to do to reduce those objections so you don't have to address many of them in the future, okay? So let the objections you get continue to tell you what you need to do to improve your presentation, all right? And that's it, guys. Hopefully you'll implement this, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments.